I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, so as someone who's both a fan and generally likes to talk about things that are loosely related to art and design, I couldn't resist critiquing these. On July 5th, the San Francisco Giants Twitter account announced their 2021 City Connect jerseys by Nike. This includes a hat, jersey, and hoodie. I'm going to quickly critique them all, and at the end I'm going to show you some redesigns that I threw together about as poorly as you'd expect from someone who transitioned from graphic design to UX design over 6 years ago. Let's begin with the hat, which is probably the least offensive of the pieces released. It's least offensive because it manages to stay well within the San Francisco Giants brand. And I don't mind the added bridge on these, since the bridge along with the fog seems to be a design theme throughout this set. The only possible change I could see being made to this hat is a solid white SF with no outline, similar to the logo on these black hats the team sells on its website. Onto the jersey, where things get interesting, at least a little bit. The bridge on the sleeves isn't bad. The city of San Francisco is connected by two prominent bridges, so having one on each sleeve makes sense, even if the hat for whatever reason has just one. My gripe with this jersey is the same gripe that many of the fans on Twitter had, which is the use of the G logo instead of the interlocking SF logo. I don't mind the fog depiction within the G logo as illustrated by the white gradient bleeding up from the bottom of the orange base. I also don't mind the gray outline to the G logo to help define the bottom edge where the white fog gradient is. But I, along with the rest of Giants Twitter, can't get over the use of the G itself. The front doesn't even need to have the SF logo. Another suggestion would be to use a script that reads something like the city or the bay, like the Golden State Warriors occasionally do, which would fit within the theme of teams using location nicknames for their City Connect jerseys. Now let's talk about this jock tag logo, and like most of you, I didn't know what a jock tag was until these were released. I understand what they were going for here, using an orange giant script with a fog layer that reads SF interlocking with the logo, but it just feels tacky. On the back you have the number and the style of the G from the front, which is fine, though I prefer the letters of the name without the gray outline because the gray outline seems unnecessary. Now let's talk about the hoodie, which has a familiar problem, the use of the G instead of the iconic SF. I'm also not a fan of the slashes between the mini logos. I'm sure the slashes can work between text, but they're distracting here. After reading through some Twitter threads, I found two common comments. One is that the jersey needs black, and two, there seems to be a consensus dislike for the use of the G. I definitely agree with the latter, but as far as the jersey needing black, I believe the design can work without it, and I say that as someone whose favorite color is black. As you can see with the before and after, I simply replaced the G logo with the SF logo, and I eliminated the fog on the jock tag logo. More probably could have been done here, but I didn't want to spend forever making this video, so I avoided going down any design rabbit holes. Just as I did on the jersey, I replaced the G logo with the SF logo. Since I used the SF logo as the primary logo, that eliminated one of the three mini logos. Of the two remaining mini logos, I just stacked them vertically. My goal was to get rid of those distracting slashes. Because as I mentioned earlier, I could see the slashes working between text, just not between these logos. I'm sensing a common theme in Nike baseball apparel. The jerseys are either over-designed, or they possess elements where it seems like they went out of their way to be creative instead of just sticking to traditional graphic design principles. If you have a problem with the City Connect jerseys, wait till you see what Nike rolled out for the All-Star Game jerseys.